I have put a large entree plate in front of you along with a fork and knife. Is that correct? You see that? Okay. So, the fork and the knife is always going to be fork on the left-hand side, knife on the right-hand side. Correct? Is that how you normally see it in places? Have a spoon is typically on your right-hand side. And show the other volunteers how to set that up for me. You are not finished. It's how you communicate with the server without actually having to speak with them. Does that make sense? Do we have any questions? Now there's another way to do it too. Same thing. Now I'm going to ask you to show everybody, okay? You have everybody make their plates like that?
Wait. Does that
You
mean
can just walk it around. All volunteers at the tables will flip your fork. Just flip the fork right where it is. Thank you so much. That tells the server that you're finished. Now, does anyone in the room know how to correctly cut your food? Yes, ma'am. Can everybody see what she just did? You'll cut with your right, and then in America, we switch the fork so you eat. Does that make sense? So it doesn't feel awkward or strange. You hold it. You have it almost perfect. You want to hold it like this. Why do you think we hold it like that?
So you can steady it?
Exactly.
So you can what?
So you can
steady it. Steady.
So you have enough weight on the fork that you can control. Okay? Now, after cutting your food, what do you do next? What do you do with your knife?
You put it down.
Okay, but where do you put it?
On your napkin. On the right? On your plate.
On your plate. Who said that? Nice work. Plate right here. Okay? Can you show? Thank you very much. You want it to the top right of your plate. You do not set it back down on the table because it's dirty. And you'll be using it again, right? Okay. And then in America, as I just told this table over here, American style, you switch your fork. So after you cut your food, you take the fork from your left hand and you put it in your right hand and then you eat. So you go over the silverware setup so you understand the silverware on your table. With silverware, we work from outside in. Okay? So everybody sees the small fork on their table?
Yeah.
The small fork is actually for your salad.
Wow.
Okay? And then once you're done with your salad, your server will take that fork away with them, along with your salad plate, leaving you, yes ma'am, leaving you with your large fork, right? So then when you get to your entree, whether it's a steak or chicken or vegetarian meal, it doesn't matter. When you need to cut it, you use your large fork in your left hand. And then when you're done cutting, the knife will go down on the side of the plate, and then you'll switch the fork to the right hand and eat what you can, right? In Europe, you don't. In Europe, you keep the same grip on the fork, and then you just move the food to your mouth, and that's it. Okay? Where do we put our elbows while we're eating? You actually want your wrists to be on the edge of the table. See?
No, this makes it much easier.
is considered impolite. It is considered impolite to have your elbows on the table. And you want your wrists resting on the edge of the table. Okay? Acts of service. What I mean by that is when you have a server and they're doing their job correctly, when they serve you, they will serve you from the left. Always. They will also always, then they will serve female first. So all you young ladies will get your dinner before the young men will. When you are finished with your meal, your server will come in and they will remove your plate from the right. Always. Okay?
And the lady's place when you remove it.
That is a great question. So, what do we do with our napkins? They go on our laps, right?
Yeah.
What you want to do is pick up your napkin. You're going to unfold it halfway. So what you want to make sure of is that your napkin is folded once, like this. And then you are going to lay it across your lap with the open edges towards your knees. Waiters will put it over their shoulder, or they'll put it other places so that they have easy access to it and it's still clean. Does that make sense?
And then you could like watch it.
Now, if you were to get up from a table during your meal, what do? You always excuse yourself, that's right. Now, if your napkin is in your lap and you need to excuse yourself, where does your napkin go? On the table, where?
Where it belongs. On the plate. Found it?
On the left-hand side over your fork.
Oh,
What you want to do is you actually want to fold it smaller so that it fits right over the fork. Just like that. Absolutely. Well, you want to try and turn away from your guests. Now, if you're cover your mouth, turn away from your guests the best that you can, and excuse yourself always. Okay?
Actually, the continue for the napkin question is covered on the fork or just put anywhere inside or outside?
No, you want it draped over your fork, right to the left-hand side. So like this, or you can have it folded like that.
Okay,
Either
just
way.
cover.
Yes, so it covers the fork.
Okay, good, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. So you can be the guest of honor. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay, and then he is the host. Celebrating a birthday.
Yeah.
All right? Is she sitting on the correct side of you since you are the host?
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Nice work. So, when you are hosting an event, a dinner, dining of any kind, the host is always going to have the guest of honor or the most important person to their right-hand side. Okay? Always to the right. It's because all dining, everything happens towards your right. So, say he has a meal, some vegetables to pass along to the rest of the guests, because the host starts with everything. It always gets passed to the right-hand side, so the guest of honor is the next person to receive the food. Does that make sense? Yes, ma'am.
If you have like multiple guests of honor that are equally important,
Then you can have them on either side, or you can have them kind of headed towards the right, and they decide where they would like to sit.
so the food, if you were to pass it, always goes counterclockwise.
Always goes to the right, counterclockwise. Good work, because that is actually something I was going to go over again. Thank you for that. If we have a soup spoon, where does it go? Besides in your soup. On the table. On the where?
On the right side.
On the right side of the table, beside your knife. Nice work. And as you're eating soup, what's the proper way to eat soup? Drink it.
From outside to inside.
Yes, sir. Skip. You are absolutely right.
Wait, how do you do that?
You scoop outwards. Why do you think we scoop outwards?
Oh! So it doesn't go out of the bowl. Yeah, so
Onto you, exactly. Perfect. Perfect. You guys
It
are.
goes up to the guest.
You guys should be teaching this class, not me. And I'm actually going to ask you.
Oh no.
Oh no. Back to the napkin. When you're finished with your meal, where do you think the napkin goes?
Left hand?
Actually, it goes on your plate. It goes
Oh.
over your plate and whatever may be left on it.
Just now it's just in the middle, you want to leave the table, so put it
If you want to leave the table, it goes to the left, just like
Okay.
you're doing.
Finally, when you finish the dinner, you just put on the plate.
On the plate.
Okay,
Yes,
got it.
ma'am. Do you use a butter knife to cut bread?
No.
So you use a knife to cut the bread. You use the butter knife to spread the butter, right? Perfect. Now how about for the adults in the room, if you were drinking a glass of wine? Okay, not the adults in the room. Sir. You hold it in the right hand, yes. How do you hold it? You do not want to hold it with, no, you do not want to hold it with the bowl. For white and rosé, you hold with the stem, right? And then for red, you can. A few impolite behaviors that happen during dining. How about talking with food in your mouth? Do you guys have one more for me? In a fine dining atmosphere, or in a dining atmosphere where you have a chef preparing a meal, is it polite to add anything to the meal before trying it?
No.
Does this include salt and pepper?
No.
Yes, it does. You will offend all chefs if you do not try their food first before adding anything to it. So it is impolite to add any salt, pepper, or any sauces to a meal before trying it. Okay? Reaching over someone. Reaching over somebody to get food. If you leave the table without asking for permission. Exactly. What do you say? Perfect. Is it polite to play with your cell phone or a tablet at the table? All right. What are polite behaviors? How about introducing yourself to guests at the table you don't know? Sitting straight. If we have to cross our legs at the table, you want to cross them at the ankle. Okay? We already talked about food needs to be tasted before you put salt and pepper on it, yes?
Yes.
Okay. When do you start the meal? And what it is when the host unfolds their napkin to put on their lap, that's when the rest of the guests can do the same. And then the host takes the bite. Right?
So it's like the birthday party.
Exactly. It's always polite to signal the correct silent service code. What is the silent service code again? Yes, using your fork and knife. And what is the most polite thing to do when somebody serves you? Perfect. Perfect. All right, do we have any questions?
You need help from the waiter. Usually, what are you gonna say?
The best way to signal a waiter,
Yes.
there's a lot of,
hands like
there's you can always raise your hand. If they are looking towards you, you can always beckon, but if you beckon with all fingers or several fingers. Don't do it like this. Do it like. I will tell you, if you are being served by a waiter, don't snap your fingers, don't shake your glass at them, just quietly beckon. Or if they're within earshot and you're able to say their name, that is acceptable as well. So if the food comes, if you have a meal that comes, he asked about if the food comes with a sauce, do you eat it with the sauce first? If you have a meal where the sauce is actually designated for the meal, so there's a remoulade or an aioli on the side, yes, you can use that. However, if you get a meal and you request a ranch or you request some other sauce to go with it, then you taste the meal first before you add the sauce.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Okay. Yes, sir.
Like even for salad, let's say they give us a salad, it doesn't come with ranch and we ask for it.
If you have a salad is naturally dressed, so if you have a salad that doesn't have a dressing on it, but there's dressing on your table, that is acceptable. A lot of times in a fine dining atmosphere, your salad will come with a dressing on it already. A lot of times a house specialty. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
Do you taste the food before asking for sauce, or do you ask for sauce and then taste the food?
Taste the food before asking for it.
If somebody calls you, do you excuse yourself from the table?
Somebody calls you, like your cell phone? I would say no unless it's an emergency. It is impolite to excuse yourself from a dinner if it's just a random phone call. But if it's something that you need to take or you're expecting it, You can let your guests know when you sit at the table, I might be expecting a phone call. When it comes in, excuse me, I will be right back. You never want to eat in the dining room, or I'm sorry, you never want to talk on the phone in the dining room. You always want to leave the dining room or go outside.
There are a couple cost
How do they sit? Typically, if husband or wife would be on the right-hand side. Okay? Thank you so much, everyone. It was wonderful chatting with you. If you have any other questions, you're welcome to ask myself or your server, Lonnie, who'll be in here. I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy your lunches, okay?
I can feel
Yes,
Thank you.